Good evening. Welcome to St. Pius X, and thank you for attending this year's 6th Annual Concert for Vocations. My name is Sister Lori Marie. I am a Sister of the Resurrection from Castleton, New York, and I am also the Coordinator for Religious Vocations and Religious Life Awareness. It is my honor to introduce to you Father Anthony Legato, the Vicar for Vocations for the Diocese of Albany, and the pastor of St. Jude the Apostle Church in Wieneskill and St. Michael the Archangel Parish in Troy. Father Legato will serve as our MC for the evening. Please join me in welcoming Father to the ambo.
Good evening and welcome to the 5th Annual Concert for Vocations. It's hard to believe that this is the 5th concert. Each year it keeps growing and it becomes more and more successful and is having a great impact on all of us throughout the entire diocese in every vocation, from marriage and family to priesthood, diaconate, religious life, to the single life. Your being here this evening, praying with us, joining in with us, continues to help bring attention to our Christian vocation, which is given to each and every one of us at our baptisms. Tonight's concert will be live streamed and is accessible through the website. Tonight is an opportunity for the people of the Diocese of Albany to gather in prayer and thanksgiving for its bishops, priests, deacons, and sisters and seminarians, and seminarian and deacon candidates and aspirants, and also to celebrate the vocations of marriage and family and of single life. We have a wonderful program of sacred and classical music featuring some of the hidden talents of the ministers of our diocese. Tonight's concert will be dedicated to the memory of Sister Monica Murphy, a sister of St. Joseph of Carondelet, who died suddenly last night in a car accident. She founded Pyramid Lake Life Center over 30 years ago, helped to host countless retreats and gatherings there, including the annual seminarian retreat in recent years. She is a shining example of what it means to live out a religious vocation, dedicated to serving God and His people during her 58 years as a sister. Please keep her and her family and the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet in your prayers over the coming days. An additional memorial will be read at the end of the concert this evening. Our first performance this evening will be from Father Samuel Bellafiore. Father Sam was ordained a priest just 58 days ago. And now he knows what it truly means, right? And now he serves as parochial vicar at Our Lady of Victory Church in Troy. He will be accompanied by seminarian Matthew Duclos, who worked at Corpus Christi Church in Round Lake and is serving for his summer at St. John the Evangelist and St. Anthony's in Schenectady. They will be performing Every Valley Shall Be Exalted from Handel's Messiah. Please welcome Father Samuel Bellafiore and Matthew Duclos. Next, we will hear an arrangement of Ave Maria that may not be as familiar as Gounod or Schubert's version of the piece. Mikhail Lorenik composition will be performed by Sarah Guerrera, administrative assistant for the Office of Vicar for Vocations. Sarah comes from a family of musicians. Her grandfather was a high school music teacher and band leader. Father, a retired pipe organ builder. Her mother, a parish music director. And brother, a piano technician. She has been cantoring for over 18 years in the Ogdensburg Diocese, Archdiocese of Seattle, and now in the Diocese of Albany, and enjoys singing and praying with the Psalms. Accompanying her, Father Rendell Torres, who was born and raised in Los Angeles and studied engineering and acoustics before entering the seminary. He was ordained a priest for the Diocese of Albany in 2010 and is currently the pastor of Our Lady of Hope in Whitehall, St. Anne's in Fort Anne, and the Mission Chapel of Assumption in Hewlett's Landing. They will be accompanied by Father Cuivo on the piano. Let us welcome Sarah, Father Torres, and Father Cuivo. Father Carlino is our next performer. He says he is delighted to be part of the concert tonight to promote vocations to the priesthood and religious life. However, even though since the beginning of the new year he had the best of intentions to practice more frequently the organ piece he will be playing this evening, he feels that as well as he regrets that he did not find adequate enough time to do it justice. We'll leave you to make the judge of that. We heard him perform in the rehearsal, and it certainly sounded quite good to all of us. One day in the middle of the winter, when he was praying to the good Lord, and with more than a little anxiety about the concert, he asked for greater personal discipline as well as better time management to do the needed practicing. If you had been to his 40th anniversary celebration, you know that that is still something he is working on. Looking back to that day, he figures now that either he did not fully cooperate with the Lord's graces or that the Lord's answer to his petition was very simply no. Whatever it was, he is especially thankful to Matthew Duclos, who was assigned to him for this summer and to help him with his time management in both parishes in Schenectady, for his assistance in procuring the sheet music for him and for his encouragement and coaching, which he generously gave to Father beginning months ago while he was still at studies in Rome, and continues literally up to this very moment today to continue to encourage him. Father Carlino dedicates his piece tonight to his dear dad, Frank Carlino, who is with us tonight, still going strong and having celebrated this past May 7th, his 94th birthday. So we want to congratulate Frank on his birthday. Please welcome Father Carlino. Our next performer is discerner Connor Patrick. Connor is a recent graduate from LaSalle Institute in Troy, and he is headed to Notre Dame University in South Bend, Indiana, this coming fall to study music. The piece he will be performing tonight is a reflection of how Jesus is calling us to be closer to him and even calling some to enter religious life. Connor currently serves as music minister at Holy Trinity Church in Cohoes, and he would like to dedicate his performance to Joe Hughes, former director of music at Holy Trinity in Cohoes, who passed away 3 weeks ago. Connor will be performing Softly and Tenderly, Jesus is Calling, written by American composer Lamartine Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, Connor Patrick.
I was told before I start I could say a brief message, so I promise I will make it very brief. First, thank you, Father Legato, and everyone for the opportunity to perform tonight. I did want to briefly just reflect about why I chose this piece, and it's because of my church's dearly beloved former organist, Joe Hughes. About a half a year ago, Joe became very ill and asked if I'd fill in for him as the organist and choir director at Holy Trinity in Cohoes. And really, there's no replacing Joe at all. He was such a talented musician, and truly, he just radiated joy. But I filled in and I tried to do the best I could to honor him. And unfortunately, a few weeks ago, he passed away. So this performance tonight is in honor of him, but also in honor of the many other people who I've known and who we all have known who have listened to Jesus' call as well. I really find in the call to answer a vocation, it's not so much sometimes, at least for me, this big where, like Jesus striking down Saul on the horse and he's instantly converted. In my vocation kind of path, and I think in a lot of others, it's oftentimes trying to hear if Jesus is calling, and it's his soft whisper that we're trying to discern and see if we should pursue religious life or married life or whatever vocation it may be. So this performance is in honor of Joe, who served us for so many years, and for all of us who might be trying to discern God's call, but might be struggling to find it sometimes. Thank you.
Softly and tenderly Jesus is calling, calling for you and for me. See, on the portals he's waiting and watching, watching for you and for me. Come home, come home, you who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling for you to come home. Why should we tarry when Jesus is pleading, pleading for you and for me? Why should we linger and heed not his mercies? Mercies for you and for me. Come home, you who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling for you to come home. Oh, for the wonderful love he has promised for you and for me. Though we have sinned, he has mercy and pardon for you and for me. Come home, you who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling for you to come home.
Our next two performers are presenting to us two very different pieces. The first one up is Thomas Yakelis. Thomas is a seminarian going into second year at Cathedral Seminary House of Formation in Douglaston, New York. He is serving at Holy Trinity Parish in Hudson for the summer. Following him will be a performance by Father James Ebert, pastor of Mater Christi Parish in Albany and vicar for clergy for the Diocese of Albany. He will be accompanied by Dr. Tim Reno. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our performer, Thomas Yakelis.
Rock of ages, clap for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from thy wounded sides flow, be of sin the double cure, save from wrath and make me pure. Not the labor of my hands can fulfill thy law's demands. Could my zeal no respite know? Could my tears forever flow? All for sin could not atone. Thou must save, and thou alone. Simply to thy cross I cling, naked come to thee for dress, helpless look to thee for grace, foul I to the font I fly. Wash me, Savior, or I die. When I draw this fleeting breath, when my eyes shall close in death, when I rise to worlds unknown, see thee on thy judgment throne, Rock of Ages, left for me. Let me hide myself in thee.
Please welcome now Father James Hebert.
And Father Legato said that this evening was sacred in classical music. Nothing gets more sacred than Sinatra. So when I first when I first heard this song, I was 14. Now I'm past the 35 mark, and for Father Legato, I will emphasize on the autumn of my years. When I was 17, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for small town girls and soft summer nights. We'd hide from the lights on the village green. When I was 17, when I was 21, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for city girls who lived up the stair with all that perfumed hair. And it came undone when I was 21. When I was 35, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for blue-blooded girls limousines their chauffeurs would drive when I was 35. But now the days are short. I'm in the autumn of the year, and now I think of my life as vintage wine from fine old kegs, from the brim to the dregs. It poured sweet and clear. It was a very good year. To Tim Reno.
So, Father Ebert, is this a very good year for you? Now, this is you're going to enter into your 40th year, so it's like that very last verse that you sang. Now that it's all done, right? So,
I'm at the halfway mark.
so I thought this was kind of expressing where you're at right now, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Our next performer is Father Mike Melanson, who also was ordained in June by Bishop Scharfenberger after serving as a deacon for more than 26 years at Immaculate Conception Parish in Glenville. Now he serves as a parochial vicar at Our Lady of the Annunciation in Queensbury and Sacred Heart Church in Lake George. He played lead guitar in a local rock band for 10 years. And I think you'll see his talent comes out with his performance of Holy, Holy, Holy. Ladies and gentlemen, Father Michael Melanson.
If Father Ebert is at his halfway mark, I'm all the way at the end. I think I have the dubious honor of being the oldest man ever ordained to a priesthood in the Albany Diocese. That's a title I didn't really want, but it's there. Everybody sing that with me next time, okay? Holy are you, Lord. Jesus, we praise you. Glory. All honor and glory is yours, Almighty Father. May you bless us this day and every day. Amen.
Our next performer is Marco Pranic, who graduated this past spring from St. Bernard's Institute and is currently studying liturgy at Mundelein Seminary in Chicago. He is also a graduate of the Eastman School of Music in Rochester with a degree in organ performance. He will be singing the Lord's Prayer, and he will be accompanied by Father Quivo on piano and Matthew Duclos on organ. Ladies and gentlemen, Marco Pranic. Our next performer is Father Quivo. Father Quivo will be performing a movement from Beethoven's Piano Sonata in F minor. He studied piano at the Crane School of Music at SUNY Potsdam before entering the seminary, and is now the pastor of St. John the Baptist in Newport and St. Anthony and Joseph in Herkimer. He serves as the vocations team representative for our international seminarians and discerners. Ladies and gentlemen, Father Quivo. So I'm the next performer, and I have nobody to introduce me. Now, normally, Father Brian Slezak introduces me, who's way in the back there, by the way. He came late on purpose, so he would not have to introduce me. On top of that, Matthew Duclos, who is in charge of the concert portion of this evening, says to me when he hands me the script of the introductions for all the performers, he says, "Oh, I didn't bother writing an introduction for you. Just get up there and introduce yourself." So here I am. So I'm going to do a piece from Burt Bacharach and Hal David titled "What the World Needs Now is Love." And I can't help but think that that is something certainly we desperately need right now. The world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Oh, Lord. And so I'm back to my other job. God to Enfold Me, written by contemporary composer Critch Hutchings, will be performed by Dr. Tim Reno, Associate Professor of Creative Arts and Music at Siena, along with his wife Andrea, music teacher at St. Madeleine Sophie School in Guilderland, and Father Dan Quinn, pastor of St. Paul the Apostle Church in Hancock. Please welcome our performers.
God to enfold me, God to surround me, God in my speaking, God in my thinking. slumber. God in mine ever-living soul. God in mine eternity. God in mine eternity.
Our final performance this evening will be our own bishop, Bishop Edward B. Scharfenberger, who will close this year's concert with Andrea Bocelli's version of Time to Say Goodbye. He will be joined by Marco Pranek, and Father Cuiveau and Matthew Duclos will accompany them both on piano and organ. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bishop Scharfenberger.
Quando sono solo sogno l'orizzonte, mancano le parole. Sì, lo so che non c'è luce in una stanza quando non c'è sole. Se non ci sei tu con me, su le finestre mostra tutto il mio cuore che hai acceso. Chiudi dentro me la luce che hai incontrato per strada. Time to say goodbye. Paesi che non ho mai veduto, vissuto con te. Adesso sì li vivrò con te, partirò su navi per mari che io lo so, non esistono più, con te io li vivrò.
Quando sei lontana sogno l'orizzonte e mancan le parole. Sì, lo so che sei con me, tu mia luna, tu sei qui con me, mio sole, tu sei qui con me, con me, con me, con me. Time to say goodbye, paesi che non ho mai veduto, vesuto con te. Adesso si rivivrò con te.
con te partirò su navi per mari che io lo so non esistono più. Con te io li rivivrò, con te dirò. Io per te
You have to admit that's a fantastic way to end a concert, isn't it? Absolutely. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Father Cui. And thank you, Matthew Duclos as well. I'd like to thank all of you for being with us this evening for this 5th annual Concert for Vocations. Let us give a last round of applause to all of our performers and all those who made this possible. I'd like to especially thank Father James Walsh, the pastor here at St. Pius Church, as well as his entire staff who prepared so well for us, setting up the live streaming, setting up all of the areas that we were using for the concert this evening, and just for their overall hospitality and kindness to all of us, and to their Vocations Committee for all the support that they gave to us as well. We'd like to thank them especially. Thank you. I'd also like to thank the Diocesan Office of Communication, Mary DeTurris-Paust and Katie Costello, who especially have worked very hard with social media and getting out to the public all the information about the concert as well, and plus the live streaming that was being done through Facebook also, and all the photos. So we greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. We also don't want to forget Nate Whitechurch from the evangelist who has been taking photos for us this evening. He's always at all of our events, and we are so greatly appreciative of the coverage that the evangelist gives us. Thank you. I want to thank Mary Fay, the Director of Marriage and Family Life Office of the Diocese of Albany. Mary chaired the concert for us this year, making sure all of those different pieces came together in unison with one another. So I want to thank Mary especially. She's somewhere walking around making sure things are still going well. Thank you, Mary. I also want to thank Sister Lori Marie Parisi, Deacon Paul Kisselbeck, and Sarah Guerrera from the Office of Vicar for Vocations for all the support and help that they have given us in preparing for this concert also. Thank you so much. But I want to thank all of you because the seminarians and the seminarian candidates, the aspirants and discerners that you saw here this evening are all because of all of you. When we began this concert 5 years ago, it was to raise vocations awareness, to ask all of you to pray before the Blessed Sacrament, so as the Lord would raise up vocations to the priesthood, to the permanent diaconate, to religious life, to marriage, and to family, and to the single life itself, for all of us to live out our Christian vocation. Your prayers have not gone unanswered. we can say proudly in the Diocese of Albany, we currently have 37 men who are in formation for the priesthood for the diocese. 18 men in the permanent diaconate formation program for the diocese. A very vital and ongoing vocations awareness program for religious life that Sister Lori Marie Parisi oversees for the diocese, as well as for marriage and family life that is overseen by Mary Fay for the diocese. And along with that, all of the many, many people in this diocese that minister on the diocesan and parish level that help to raise awareness of our Christian vocation that is given to each and every one of us in our baptism. Thank you to all of you for your great support. Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite forward seminarians Dan McHale and Stephen Yusko. They are both going into their third year of theology, and they are both from Hudson, New York, where Sister Monica Murphy herself was from. They will read a remembrance of Sister Monica, in whom we have dedicated this holy hour in concert to this evening.
A vocation to be a religious sister is a unique call from God, one that is lived out through service to God in His church, and one that Sister Monica exemplified each day of her life. One of the things she has been doing for years is providing people with the space to discover their vocation, to try to figure out how we can learn to be our best selves and be joyful in the process. In Catholic Central High School, one of the courses she taught was called Career Exploration. She worked with students to find them placements in various occupations. Sister Monica worked for years on search and journey retreats, Curcio, hosted CLI and Breakaway, all of which aim in some way to help us find our mission and call. For 33 years, Pyramid Life Center has hosted groups who came together to support their vocation, like the Catholic Singles, Families with Children from Asia, Women Writers, Merton Followers, and Parish Families. Also welcome and regular visitors to Pyramid are those recovering from addictions and people with developmental disabilities. If we could add up all the people who would say that Sister Monica somehow influenced their vocation, it would be in the tens of thousands. As a sister of St. Joseph of Carondelet for 58 years, she will be remembered throughout the diocese for her warmth, vitality, energy, generosity, and grace. In a particular way, the seminarians especially will remember her hospitality as she welcomed us for our annual summer retreats.
The mission statement of the Albany Province of Sisters of St. Joseph, Carondelet, reads, "Called by God and passionate for the mission of Jesus Christ, the Sisters of St. Joseph come together to serve all persons. With a distinctive spirit of hospitality and a particular concern for the poor, we witness to the gospel message by being a unifying and reconciling presence to a world in need. Sister Monica was a shining example of this mission through her ministry in Catholic schools and most recently at the Pyramid Life Center. Anyone who's been up there for a visit or a retreat will recall the grace that was sung before every meal in the dining hall to the tune of Edelweiss. Before we depart for the reception in the parish hall, let's pray for God's blessing on the food as we sing this grace together in memory of Sister Monica. The blessing can be found on the half-page handout. And after that, we'll sing the Salve Regina, which can be found in your programs. Please stand.
I don't know if I'm the only Sister of St. Joseph of Carondelet here, but I am here, and I'm so glad to be here. Maybe I'm representing us. But I really have to plea to Father Legata and all of us, the reason why we're Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet is that when we came to St. Louis, we settled in a place called Carondelet, and it was a Spanish baron. We were named after the village of Carondelet, and so once Father Hubbard, Bishop Hubbard was even saying Carondelet. We're from France. In 1650 we were founded. However, when we came to the United States, we became Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet. So please don't be offended, but I'd like to take this opportunity to share that. I'm Sister Margaret Ann Cadell, otherwise known as Sister Peg.
Salve Regina, Mater Misericordiae, Vita Dulcedo, Espes Nostra Salve, a te clamamus, exule Spiritus. We invite you to join us for the reception in the parish hall down the hall. And as you go out the door, you're going to notice that there's a table set up with some people sitting at it. The Vocations Committee from St. Michael the Archangel Church in Troy is sponsoring a dollhouse raffle to support seminarians, so you might want to stop by there as well. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Enjoy the reception.